the issue is that anyway we have got a regulatory system and a law that we have to stop at 1 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday, and it's at 12 midnight on Fridays. But when it comes to the beach areas, where it's, where most of the tourists move around, when it comes to the beach, then sometimes it can go on till late nights. And obviously doing that, I think a lot of tourists are attracted to that as well. Now, if we take for an instance as an example Goa, this is a happening place. It's all around. It's till very late at night. It's till morning. It carries on because this is a tourist destination. If we are going to declare Sri Lanka as a tourist destination, if we are going to sell sun, sea, and sand to the foreigners, to the tourists in this world who are coming in as tourists to this country, obviously we have to cater. We have to make sure that Sri Lanka is, a tourist destination, and there is entertainment. Because if people are going to bed at 10 o'clock in the night, then that cannot be a tourist destination. That's just normal life. So people, the tourists look forward to coming here and enjoying, especially when the beach areas, they love the music, they like to enjoy. If we take Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, if we go into, like I said, Goa, these type of countries, go to Thailand, go to Pattaya, go to, all these places. They are all open up. They are open. Now, when tourists come to this country, they understand that this country is a tourist destination. There should be entertainment, and they have to learn also to accept the situation. It's not complaining. There are only a few people who will complain. Because of a few people, I don't think that we have to, punish the whole tourism industry. So, obviously, we have to regulate only under circumstances like where there are, residential areas, especially. Residential areas, no, I wouldn't say that it can carry on till very late in the nights and very early in the mornings. But beach areas, which are the tourists who are attracted to that areas, obviously, we have to be able to entertain them. This is what nightlife is all about. Not only there, even in Colombo. Like we tend to have a look around in Colombo. If you see, by 10 o'clock, by 10:30, it's a last order, even in a hotel, in food. I mean, people have to understand. For an instance, if we take tourists coming from UK, from France, from Germany, then for us 10:30 in the night is like 5 in the evening for these people. This is the time they are really getting out and trying to, go and enjoy. And that's something that has been in Sri Lanka. We are restricting them doing this. So this is why I'm talking about nightlife is the night economy I'm talking about. Because the revenue from a night economy in any country is 70%. That's how the country runs. This is the revenue we get. Because the taxes, when you come to, if you look at it through the excise. Now it's the night time that people tend to drink and eat and enjoy. It's the night time. So this is the time the most revenue is brought into the country through the taxes, to run the country. This is the fact. And I think people cannot, say that, no, it's not true. Because this is the fact. This is exactly what happens around the world.
But do all tourists come to enjoy nightlife to Sri Lanka?
Right. That's another one. You see, during the day, this is a cultural country. We have a heritage, we have a history. We have so much of, rich culture in this country. Now, I have to say, if you yourself travel to another country, you're going to France, or you will go to the UK or somewhere. Now, you would not go 10 times to Madame Tussauds in the UK. You will not visit Buckingham Palace 10 times. You will not visit Big Ben 10 times. So likewise, you will not visit the Eiffel Tower 10 times. I mean, you see it once, it's done. That's it. This is the same situation in Sri Lanka. People come, they go to Sigiriya. Once they climb Sigiriya, the rock, and they go and learn the history and everything, they would not come here to go back to Sigiriya. They will come back here to do something else. So this is something we have to understand. So our culture is there. We have to make sure that it's not only culture, it's not only entertainment. There is medical tourism. There's so many things. There's Ayurvedic. Today the world has accepted Ayurvedic treatment. We have a lot of tourists who come, for Ayurvedic treatment in this country, medical tourism. Then there is education, there's sports. But none of us have actually explored any of this and look into these things. This is exactly what I'm talking about that we should do. There's adventurous tourism in Sri Lanka. So many things we can do as a an island, and it's as a beautiful country. The beauty of this country hasn't been used.
The target set for this year is 4 million tourists, with the revenue being $4 billion. So what I want to know from you is this realistic? I mean, has Sri Lanka done enough in the last year to accommodate this many tourists or even attract any to begin with?
Yes, a good question. The target can be sky is the limit. I would like to have more than 4 million. But very unfortunately, Sri Lanka hasn't got enough accommodation to accommodate all these tourists. So what we want to do is we want to invite investors to come in, like big hotel chains, to come in and start opening up their hotels, because the accommodation is very, very important. Today we only have about 40,000 rooms. And it is very difficult. If you look out and try to book a room anywhere, today you cannot get a room because it's fully booked till April, this season. So that's very unfortunate. That is why we are trying to promote more homestay and also Airbnb and these type of accommodation, because we are not having enough of space. So this is something that we should, and we are planning on looking to, build up more hotels in Sri Lanka, especially the northeast area. If you take it, it's very less hotels. I think there's only about 2 hotels, something like that with the way I understand. And I think one is not even operating properly at the moment. So we need to do that because there is no accommodation for all these tourists. But we have been able to reach near our target last year, which was like we were planning on, having about I think 1.5 million last year, and we came close to that. We've only less about 20,000. So this year we are planning more. Obviously we have to work more to make sure that we give the facilities. We open up with the facilities to accommodate these tourists. It's no point of us telling we want 4 million heads in here. There's no point. We have to be able to provide the facilities for this 4 million. So this is exactly the plan for the future. I think this year we are having a lot of work going on in Alda area and down south especially. So hopefully also coming into Arugambe, because the season after the down south goes into Arugambe. So Arugambe as well, there are hotels which have been shut down due to COVID problems. And I think we have to make sure that these people are being given the facilities they need to rebuild back again. So that should be done, especially when it comes to taxes. We have requested from the Finance Ministry and Honorable President that at least exempt the tourism part of it from the taxes, because it's very difficult at the moment.
Okay, and when we look at the tourists, I mean, we can't help but think that these are not really big spending tourists, but backpacker tourists or thrifty tourists. So do you believe that we have big spending tourists coming to Sri Lanka?
Well, you're right when you say backpackers and not high-spending tourists. Now, high-spending tourists come here looking for the high-spending money facilities. We have to look into see whether we have facilities, can we provide for these high spenders. But there are quite a lot of hotels that, it's very high and give the facilities at the moment, a very few. But what we have to do is, what I have been planning is, we have never touched the Middle East, which are the high spenders. Also, when it comes to India, there are very high spending tourists in India as well. But very unfortunately, there are areas that can be like, for an instance, I'm talking about Mana, Kalpiti area. We have got so much of land, which is, under the tourist board. But nothing has happened. We've had a plan, and it has stopped for some reason somewhere. I'm still looking into it. Where did it stop? Why has it stopped? Because this area can be developed into an entertainment zone itself. Because there's so many things in that area that we can improve and do things. So likewise, there are so many other areas in the country as well which we can do things. So this is something we have to be able to cater for the high spenders, because nobody wants to come here and spend. And I have to say, there are lots of people who wants to come to Sri Lanka, high spenders, but I think we have to give them the facilities as well, which we are planning in this near future. We are in discussion with this thing, so we have to attract the high spenders, definitely.
Okay, and to divert a little bit, to speak on your cannabis project, there's been quite a bit of confusion going around with the cabinet saying that, they've never heard anything of this and so on. So, but there is a lot of people that would love to see something like this take off and to promote this. So, where exactly are we on the cannabis project? What's happening on that front?
Right, it has been put into the cabinet, and there has been some, given, like for the Ayurveda, because this comes under as a medical, it's medical cannabis. So the Ayurveda actually has to make their act. We have to prepare the act, where because already this is under the dangerous drug in our act, although it has been taken off the WHO as a dangerous drug. But we have to amend this, and we have to make sure that it's in a part has to be a dangerous drug as well as it has to be a medication. So this is where it is at the moment, the legal part of it is happening. And once that happens, it will go ahead, definitely. And we have, I myself have invited a lot of investors to invest, in Sri Lanka with this project. And definitely it has to be under very high security. It cannot go haywire the sunshine in Sri Lanka, knowing the Sri Lankans people. So it cannot go out of hand. And but there is another thing I have been talking about, which a lot of people have got this confused. Now, hemp is something else. Cannabis is another thing. Cannabis comes with the medical part of it. But hemp is something that brings industry. It brings job opportunities to this country. It brings dollars to this country. Because hemp itself, this plant, is used for a lot of, products. Because beauty products, food, you name it. Bioplastics, textiles, it's a vast industry, hemp. And this is something that is not a dangerous drug. It's an industrial thing. So this is something also Sri Lanka has to promote, because we can eradicate poverty in this country through this, through industries, and also bring in the dollars. If we can invite people to come in here and open up their factories with hemp, where they can do all these products, then we are giving job opportunities to the locals. We are bringing money to these poor people in this country. So this is exactly what I've been talking about. This is two sections. But what has happened is, unfortunately, people have just grabbed hold of this cannabis and they carry on, going on about, oh, she's trying to drug the country and things like that. As usual, Sri Lanka, they always get everything by the tail, most of people.